Hey, what's going on? I'm Wit, and you finally got a second chance now to pick up the NAMICA Shirahama. I'll explain next. Yeah, so each of these are the Shirahama Classic, this one in ultra blue and here in super white. And these are prototypes. This video is pre-recorded and being held until the pre-release date, so now that you're seeing this video, that means they're available. So as these are the prototypes, there have been some changes. And I go into great detail if you look at this video here. This is the unboxing I had of these prototypes. I'll try and keep this video a little more short and give you my opinions on the watch. So in the last video, I handheld the blue one a lot more, so I'll start with the white one this time. And there's a secondary reason to that, which I'll explain in a bit. So you've got a 40 millimeter diameter, 47 millimeters lug to lug, and 20 millimeter lug width, and a case thickness of 12.7 millimeters from the case back to the top of the bezel. That does not include this double dome sapphire crystal. And that crystal does have anti-reflective coating on the underside, and this white dial variant will add a blue hue to that. You've got a 120 click unidirectional bezel. This is a sapphire bezel insert, and there is luminescence throughout. I'll let you hear the bezel now. Such a great positive traction to that bezel. And for the production models, the knurling is going to be a little sharper for improved grip, but I don't have a problem with it at all, especially when you grip from the sides. Very easy. This is the NH38A automatic movement from Seiko, and it is a no-date movement. As you see, no date complication on the watch, so your release of the crown will just be in your hand-winding mode, and then the first and only click out is your hacking and time-setting mode. And we'll use the opportunity to get the handset out of the way so you can see that NAMICA logo. Screws back in very easily, and the knurling on this crown is just exceptional. It makes up for what I think is kind of a smaller crown. It doesn't have a small look to it. As you can see, it's well proportioned to the watch, but in hands, in my fingers, it feels like it's kind of a small crown. It does come in at 6.4 millimeters, but again, well proportioned to the watch, and with that knurling, you don't even need a crown bigger than that. So I always like to give you an accuracy rating for the watches I review as well. So over 16 days, the Ultra Blue variation came in at plus 9.1 seconds per day, and the Super White variation came in at only plus 1.9 seconds per day, again across 16 days. Pretty sweet. And as you can see, this dial has got that almost sterile-like, I mean, such a bold move for a manufacturer's first watch right out of the chute to come out with a watch that's got very little branding. All you see there is the NAMICA logo underneath the upside-down triangle at the 12 spot, and automatic. That's it. And so I'll give you the other reason now why I wanted to feature this white dial. So this blue dial version is what I first saw and really attracted me to the brand. Was so excited to get it, and I do still love it, but they surprised me and also sent the white dial version, and I am a sucker for white dials. I fell in love with this one. So out of the two, this is my favorite color variant. The white with the pops of black. So you see the hour hand and the indices, and then that Riot with the black minute track, and then those pops of orange to match the minute hand at the 12, 3, 6, and 9. And I will say, this watch, even here on camera, the orange looks like just kind of a bright orange, right? But I will say in person, it almost takes on, at least against this white backdrop, more of a neon orange color. It's almost kind of that fluorescent orange, construction orange, you know, it's just super bright and eye-catching. So if you like a little more tame orange, this may not be the colorway for you. Okay, I'll mention another couple of production changes. So this Ultra Blue is going to have a bolder font for automatic, which you can't even see here, right? Here you go. So that is going to be a little more bold font. So we'll come through a little better. I mentioned the blue AR coating underneath the crystal of the white dial variant already. They're going to raise the sides of the case to visually slim the overall thickness of the watch. I'm not really quite sure what that means, but we're about to find out, right? Then on the bracelet, there's going to be a new bold and better finishing here on this end link. And then the NAMICA logo is going to be a little smaller and centered between these two pushers. The bracelet, the pins will change to a screwed link bracelet. So that's about it for the upgrades. You see you've got that nice milled clasp there, and you've got 3 micro adjusts, and here's your decorated case back. So what are my negatives about the watch? Well, while we're talking about the bracelet and stuff, I did find there is, at least on this one, a little section where, see, I can't get it to do it now, so that's fine. But I did have the bracelet bunch up on occasion on this white dial variant. And so the fact that I can't recreate it tells you that it's definitely an anomaly. So I think that there's not really an issue, but I couldn't let this review go without mentioning. Sometimes there was a bunch in the links. And then my next negative is actually going to spin to a positive. This 40 millimeter diameter is just a little small for me for a diver. I'm used to divers being much larger, but obviously I've got an 8-inch wrist, so I'm probably not in the norm, and that's the positive part. For somebody to come out with a diver that's 40 millimeter, I think is going to be very popular. And that's probably one of the reasons why the Kickstarter was so popular, and we're now here at pre-sale mode. So what do I love about the watch? Well, let me just start right here on that dial. Look at that. That's just so clean. I love the circle and baton indices combined with that upside down triangle. That handset is just killer, especially this black on white. And just the pops of color too. Again, like I said, it appears to be just kind of a simple orange here on camera, but it really is a lot more fluorescent, super bright orange. So it's got a splash of color. You know, if you are somebody who likes colors, as simple as this looks and seems, it's not. It's kind of got a pop to it just because of that color of orange. I love the sandblasted case. It's absolutely beautiful. Just got that kind of satin finish, you know, so nothing's high polish, so it doesn't strike you as blingy, but definitely has a robust, handsome look to it. The sapphire bezel insert adds that touch of class everywhere. You see you've got a nice reflection of light on it, just like the crystal, so I love that integration. There is a beveled edge between the crystal and the sapphire bezel insert. So you see it's not as if it's one, you know, piece of glass. It's not that illusion, but definitely a uniform look. And speaking of the bezel, again, that's just, you know, great action on it, easy to grip and turn, and what more do you want? And I love the knurling on this crown. That's just a classic look. You know, this part really reminds me of like Tool Watch, and, you know, and to have it carry on to the bezel grip as well. But one of my favorite things, yeah, you guessed it, the luminescence. Look at this bad boy. I mean, who does that, right? This lower section here, the bottom half of the bezel, really literally turns into a flashlight. It's just crazy. I would almost say that it's so bright that it deters you from seeing the dial. If you're in a pitch black room and you kind of look at the watch at first, you're sucked into that lower section, which is so bright. So you kind of have to make it a point to look at the indices and the handset and stay away from. Don't look directly into the light. And I'll wrap things up with the Ultra Blue variant. So this is the NAMICA Watches Shirahama Classic, and it's available now for pre-sale. The Kickstarter was so successful that now we've gone into the pre-sale mode. So I don't have the price for you now because I've recorded this video well in advance of that pre-sale date in order to get these watches back to Japan. These are the 2 prototypes. But if you click on the description down below, you'll see the NAMICA Watches website, and you can follow that link for pricing info. This 200-meter diver is just an excellent first watch from NAMICA Watches, and I think that if you're into the looks of it and divers are your style, then you are absolutely going to love this piece. Throw in your 2 cents down below, hit that comment section, and give me your feedback on the NAMICA Shirahama Classic, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm Whit, with so many watches, so little time, and money.